Disclaimer. This video content is AI generated as educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis or treatment. Your health concerns may be unique. Always consult your physician or a qualified healthcare provider for personalized guidance.
All right, let's talk about your cholesterol report. Today we're going to decode those numbers using the brand new 2024 CSI guidelines. We'll unpack a condition called dyslipidemia and, what it all really means for your heart health. So let me just start with a really direct question for you. When it comes to your heart, do you actually know your numbers? I mean, think about it. We track steps, we track calories, we track everything. But these numbers, they might just be the most important data you have. And here is exactly why that's so important. Knowing your numbers is all about being proactive, not reactive. It's about getting ahead of a problem, working with your doctor on a plan, instead of just dealing with an emergency after it's already happened. Early detection is everything. Okay, so let's tackle the big word here, dyslipidemia. I know, it sounds super technical, maybe a little intimidating, but trust me, the concept itself is actually pretty simple.
So, what is it? At its heart, dyslipidemia is just an imbalance of fats, or lipids as they're called, in your blood. You might also hear it called a lipid disorder. All it means is that the levels of things like cholesterol and triglycerides are out of their ideal healthy range. That's it, an imbalance. So now we know what it is. But why is catching it early such a game changer? Well, the key is a tool that's surprisingly simple. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The 2024 guidelines are crystal clear on this. They say that by measuring your lipid profile, that's the official name for the blood test, we can spot the risk for coronary artery disease and start managing it right away. This isn't just theory. It's the bedrock of modern preventative heart care. All right, so you've got that blood test report in your hand. What are you even looking at? Let's break it down and decode that lipid profile. It's time to meet the key players that really tell the story of your heart health. Okay, so there are 5 main characters in this story. First up, you've got your total cholesterol. That's kind of the big overall number. Then there's LDL, which you've probably heard called the bad cholesterol because it can build up in your arteries. Next is HDL, the good cholesterol, which actually works to clear out the bad stuff. Then you have triglycerides, another type of fat your body uses for energy. And finally, non-HDL cholesterol. This one is super useful. It's basically your total cholesterol minus the good stuff, giving you a really clear picture of all the potentially troublesome lipids combined. Now, this is where it gets really interesting and really personal. See, there's no single perfect cholesterol number that applies to everyone. Your healthy targets are actually based on your own individual risk level. According to these guidelines, everyone falls into one of 4 risk categories based on your overall health picture. And where you land on this spectrum, from low risk all the way to very high risk, is what determines what your target numbers should be. It's a completely personalized approach. And believe me, the difference this makes is, well, it's dramatic. Just take a look at the target for LDL, the bad cholesterol. If you're in the low-risk group, the goal is to get under 100. But if you're in the very high-risk category, that target gets almost twice as strict. The goal becomes getting under 55. Let's just pause on that number for a second. Less than 55. Wow. This isn't just a minor tweak. It's a huge shift in how we think about prevention. This aggressive target is for people who might have already had a heart attack or stroke or have a combination of major risk factors. For them, getting LDL this low is absolutely crucial. And we see the exact same story with non-HDL cholesterol, that number that captures all the bad types together. For someone at low risk, the target is under 130. But for the very high-risk group, it plummets to less than 85. The pattern is clear. The higher your personal risk, the lower your target number needs to be. So we've met the key players, and we understand this whole concept of risk-based targets. Now, let's put it all together and look at the official chart from the 2024 guidelines. This chart lays it all out beautifully. You can see the 4 risk groups right across the top. And as you scan from left to right, from lower risk to higher risk, you can see how those target numbers for LDL and non-HDL cholesterol get lower and lower. Notice how the high-risk target drops to under 70, right before that super aggressive goal of under 55 for the very high-risk folks. This table is basically the roadmap. Now, it's interesting. While the targets for the bad cholesterols change based on your risk, some goals are actually the same for everyone. For HDL, the good cholesterol, you always want a higher number, ideally above 40 for men and 50 for women. For triglycerides, the goal for everyone is to be under 150. And there's another one called lipoprotein A, a specific genetic risk factor, where the goal is to be under 50. So after looking at all of this, what's the one big takeaway? It's this. There is no single set of good numbers that fits everybody. Your personal optimal lipid targets are completely determined by your overall cardiovascular risk profile. That's a conversation to have with your doctor. So we'll just leave you with this final thought. We've decoded the jargon, we've looked at the targets, and we've seen why it all matters so much. Now that you know what these numbers actually mean, the only question left is, isn't it time to understand yours? Thanks so much for watching.